Thank you for tuning in to Connect More, featuring the shared experiences, new adventures, and nightmares of four pals who have known each other for decades. Connect More utilizes the swear jar concept to raise funds for the American Cancer Society. When you hear this during the episode, the offender will contribute to the swear jar. We'll update the swear jar each week at the end of the program. We hope you enjoy the show.
Hey, yo, welcome to another episode of Connect More. I'm Eric. There's John.
How you doing?
That's Brian.
Greetings.
And there's Jason.
Hi, everyone.
On this episode of Connect More, John and I give away family secrets. Brian and Jason age themselves, and then we'll whip around on a Connect More favorite, band names. But first, we're excited to report that we finally got a listener voice memo, guys. Can you believe it? Yeah. Woo! One of our 8 listeners got brave and sent us a message.
I know you don't want to sound desperate, but I'm just so goddamn glad someone finally did it after we were like begging people.
And it wasn't a troll.
And before we do this family segment.
Yeah, and guys, it's from our candy pusher from San Antonio, and it's in regard to our recent episode in which we tested some Mexican candies that she sent home with me during my recent visit to San Antonio. So, Madam Producer, please roll that listener voice memo.
Hi, hello. This is everybody's favorite niece from San Antonio, Krickett. So I'm currently listening to the podcast right now as we speak, and I had to pause this. Ruben likes these candies. I don't know why he said he doesn't, or they're disgusting, or whatever was said. I have proof that this man likes these candies. My apologies to all of y'all who tried the salsa. I should have preferenced that you don't use it with the salsa. I failed y'all. I should have sent Eric with a tube of chamoy. But to my defense, the candy shop that I was originally going to go purchase all my good treats for y'all was closed for the Christmas holiday. So I had to make do with what I had available to me. But maybe when Brian comes down, cough, cough, hint, hint, I will send Uncle Brian with better choices, less abrasive lollipops, and nothing moldy.
That's amazing, Krickett. Thank you for that. I have to start off. I want to lead by saying, because I was the one who liked the squinkles, spaghetti, whatever. And I did it with both the salsa on it and without. And I thought it was much better without the salsa. And so, but I could tolerate it with, and I think everybody else hated it. But like the whole spirit of the thing we were doing was like an unboxing and just trying this stuff sight unseen and having never had it before. So you didn't owe us nothing. It was fantastic that we got to try stuff that, I think our grades range from like A to D plus. So thank you for doing that. And it was very cool of you.
It was maybe a good idea, right, that she didn't warn us about the salsa. So, because I think we all did, like, without the salsa, that was an A, like the watermelon. And then as soon as you put the salsa on it, yeah.
Well, and the adventure continues, right? Like now I want to go get some chamoy and put it on that shit. Because I will say I still have a package of squinkles that went uneaten. Uh-huh. So now I can get some chamoy and put it on the squinkles and report back to y'all.
I ate all my squinkles in one sitting. So you bring that around the next time we're in the same room. She also said that like stuff was moldy or whatever. I was talking about thinking that stuff was moldy, but that's a preservative they use. There was nothing moldy in there. Mexican candy does not include mold. It was
there was
cool.
enough salt on there. There's no way that's getting moldy.
For people who do a podcast, we should try communicating occasionally.
Well, the other thing that I really appreciated that Krickett mentioned was how Ruben actually does eat that candy, because after we were talking to him about the stuff that Krickett sent, he was like, oh, geez, I wouldn't eat that garbage. And he put it in a text. We have evidence that says he doesn't like that stuff. And now Krickett's calling him out. So I can't wait maybe he'll do a voice memo next. I guarantee it won't be a minute 13 long. It'll be a lot longer than that.
Maybe he needs to try Canadian candy with us.
Little back bacon there.
So I'm going to be bringing back more candy from San Antonio here soon in the next month or so. And we might be revisiting that whole thing again. We will see.
That'll be great because that's what Cricket said, is that she's going to load you up from the candy shop that wasn't closed during the Christmas break. So we'll have a round 2, and I'm looking forward to that.
Make it so.
Well, and as we promised too, if we play your voice memo on the podcast, we're going to send you a custom Connect More mug. So that's on its way to Cricket. And we'll probably also include a little Midwestern candy in there, along with maybe a pollo asado sucker. Remember that?
Yeah,
I had
tried that out.
I had that Mexican sucker that Cricket even said she'd never heard of. So it's on its way, Cricket.
So the rest of you who have made your voice memos but have been too nervous or apprehensive to send them in, this is a call out to you. You got to get those sent in too.
Yeah, and I just want to go back to one more comment Cricket made was about so I can't wait to see what she sends Weenus when he visits, because she promised to send less abrasive lollipops. Like she like she didn't say smooth or even non-abrasive lollipops. She just said less abrasive lollipops.
Well, judging from that pollo asado one, that one had a little scrape to it as well. It wasn't quite as bad as that, whatever that thing was. We tried, but it still had those little chili flakes in it that just, they're abrasive.
Rough.
I can't wait. And we were talking earlier too.
It was like a cat's tongue.
It was like licking, like licking a cat's tongue, which only Brian would know about. I beat John to that one. I'm so happy.
I got nothing.
All right, guys. Well, speaking about abrasive, let's talk about our families.
Thanks, Paco. Families are where most of us first learned about relationships, conflict resolution, sarcasm, unconditional love, and the strategic use of silence. In Family Affair, we're sharing family experiences that still make us laugh, cringe, or both. Because sometimes the best way to connect with each other is realizing we grew up in the same kind of chaos. So what's a saying or a rule that was specific to your family, specific in your family? We are going to start with Paco. Give it to us.
Yeah, I mean, we had all the traditional ones, right? But I think the ones that stick out in my mind, and the ones that still stick in my family, and I'll go back to a previous episode where we talked about playing Uno. And so, mostly not playing Uno, but cheating in Uno was basically the segment. But whenever someone gets busted cheating in Uno in our house, the saying is, "You'll get shot in Dubuque for that."
Oh.
Jason and Weenus, right? That gem comes from Uncle Stinky, our good college friend. Steve Rudin.
Yes, he would. God. He would say that.
And the funny thing about that is when we were learning, we're not Cedar Rapids kids, we were learning how to play euchre from the Dubuque kids. And of course we'd, maybe fuck around or cheat, really? Or, make a wild bid or something.
Or like deal the cards one at a time instead of 2s and 3s or something like that.
Right. Yeah. That was the big one. And Stinky would always say, "You get shot in Dubuque for doing that." Like dead serious. Like, you get shot in Dubuque for doing that.
I'm surprised that it wasn't East Dubuque, right? Isn't East Dubuque the obvious call out there?
Yeah, back in the day, sure.
Tony Danza?
The day, sure. Oh yeah.
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little more family friendly these days. And not even in like a fun Vegas way. It's just kind of in a boring, like East Dubuque way.
Yep. Well, that's our big warning whenever you do something wrong in Uno or life.
Jax, what was the big saying or family, ritual, pastime, rite thing that you learned to observe in your family?
Well, I asked the boys if they had any funny things that I say or funny things that happen here, and the one thing that came up was that Erin and some of her siblings and my boys and stuff have a text group where when they see someone wearing those like dad shoes, like those New Balance dad shoes that you wear to like mow the lawn, they take a picture of them and email it to everybody in the text group. So they've got like a dad shoe text group, and their phones are always like ding, ding, ding. Oh, Andy found a dad shoe, and they've
White
got
socks and New Balance.
Yep, and they got to be those New Balance like we all know that the old guys wear mowing the lawn and stuff, and you get extra brownie points or whatever if it's like if you find it on a woman, like that's a big one. Like I found a woman wearing them, bam.
Wow.
Or if they've got grass stains, like he was just mowing the lawn with them, you know, that's like prime dad territory there. So that was I thought that was the kind of the funny one, the unique one that I hadn't really seen. And I don't personally, I'm not in the little text group myself.
Oh no, because you're not old, you would never be a target.
Well, and I'm being a dad, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I don't have the dad shoes, but
it's never too late, Jax.
That's right.
It's fun to observe from afar. Let's just put it that way.
I fear I have an array of those shoes, though, not the actual New Balance.
Your birthday's coming up, Jax.
That's right.
Well, one year it was kind of funny. I can't remember where we were, like Shoe Carnival or something, and they had some pairs of dad shoes, and we were getting shoes for the boys, like for to go back to school. So we were like, let's get Frank a pair of those, and we'll put him on those, and we'll take his like first day of school picture wearing those shoes, and then we'll take him back afterwards or whatever, you know. So we put him in those shoes. We took his picture and we didn't send it to the text group. We just put it on Facebook or whatever, like normal. And his family was like, "Oh my God." And then we just took him back to Shoe Carnival or whatever, because they're not cheap. God, they're like $75 or something.
Yeah. They don't give them away.
That's a lot for a prank. I agree.
Yeah, so we took him back.
Weenus, what do you got for us in the way of family lore rules, sayings?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily call it a saying, but I would call it a kind of a rule. And we're all kind of familiar with this. Fuck around and find out, right?
For sure.
My father was infamous for this. You know, when I was a teenager, I'd come home pretty hungover sometimes, and of course, what would we do? Oh, it could be 100 fucking degrees, and we'd be outside pruning every single tree on the property. Oh,
so the shittier you look from the night before, the harder you were going to work. Right?
Amen. Oh yeah. You were like sweating beer. You know, it was just like, oh. And you know, he never said no. He would never say no to you. He would just say, he wouldn't. You just say, "Are you sure you want to do that?" You know, or like, "I'm not gonna." You know, you sure you want to climb that light pole? Okay, yeah. You sure you want to do that? Or you know, I've already done that. Why you want to do that? You know.
You're just calling up the memory of our mutual classmate Todd, who lived out in Fairfax, and his we would get into these shenanigans, and then one of the mornings after, he got out some real runny scrambled eggs and was forcing those eggs into us. You always want some eggs? What is wrong? You guys want some eggs? Have some more eggs. Come on now, you haven't finished your eggs. We got the whole deal. Speaking of which, here's mine. So I'm going to work from something very simple that I think a lot of people experience, and it's clean your plate. And so clean your plate for me gave me like a lifelong thing about food waste, like having to go to a restaurant and finish everything that you ordered, or like having something go bad in the refrigerator is like a moral failing, right? Like I clearly should have had things with relish on them more in the past 2 years, because now I have to throw that out. But my mom, and I'm outing my mom here, but she knows she does this, is that she will get the to-go boxes from any restaurant. It doesn't matter. And she will do are you going to finish those fries, and get that all scooped in and have 3 meals by the time she leaves. And that's, for your calorie per dollar, she is maximizing that. And I still have a piece of that. Like these portions are ridiculous that you go to these chain restaurants and they give you 3 times as much as you can eat, especially if you're dumb enough to order like an appetizer. And I'll look at a whole thing of fries and not even touch them now. I've had to like consciously unlearn this clean your plate thing. So that either makes me super crazy and is funny for you guys to hear, or that's what everybody goes through.
No, I definitely go through that. I do that at home all the time, so I get it. I can't. Yeah.
I think I do too. I don't know if that was maybe it was from the way we grew up. We all had to clean our plates, right?
Well,
What
my
was the
par-
John Lennon lyric? It was they're starving back in China, so finish what you got.
my my parents always used to, when they went out to eat, or my parents went out to eat every Saturday night. They always brought food home, and I always ate it the next day. That was basically my brunch the next day. You know,
I love the like the doggy bag,
Yes.
conceit. Like it was never
Yes.
it was never for the dog. These dogs did not
Yes.
eat that well. Like
Woof,
like
woof.
now my dog does, but like not in the 70s.
Woof.
That shit was for the kids for either that night or the next day.
Woof,
I have
woof.
turned this into my cooking game is leftovers, whether it's from a dinner we made or something we brought home, and the next day or the day after, I love to get those leftovers out and throw open the fridge or the cupboards and see what else I can mix with them to make something new. Like it's like one of those cooking shows. That's why I like those leftovers.
That's amazing. And that's the very thing that I don't do and don't feel equipped to do. I got a buddy who lives by himself, and I can't even imagine doing this solo, like trying to manage all the food solo. How many days can I get out of this Nutella or whatever? And
That's my gig right now.
Here's what he does. Listen to this. He orders the industrial sized boxes of the little packets of ketchup, mustard, and mayo so that he can just use a packet and he can have those around for
my
like 2
God.
years.
Wow.
Transports to work well,
Wow.
can use them on the weekends, and he's not
That's
wasting that
wild.
half a jar of mayo. He's
Dang.
so much more responsible.
That's one word for it.
That's one word for it. I got another family one that kind of Brian and Jason reminded me of, that I got to tell because you guys will love it, and I know our producer will love it. But another rule that we had that we still do to this day is whenever any combination of the four of us are in a car together, and the song "How Soon Is Now" comes on,
Oh yeah.
we have to crank the volume to 21. And the best thing and by the way, it's really any version of this, because also Caitlin and I have a version from this Russian band called Tattoo. If you've ever heard it, it's might almost be better than Smith's original recording. But anyway, the best time that this ever kicked in was the four of us, and my dad was in the car, and we were driving around Cedar Rapids talking, and the radio was on like low because we were all talking, but the four of us are like radars when that song comes on, and it came on, and I was driving and my dad was in the passenger seat, and I just looked at my dad and I said, because I could hear the kids and Tanya in the back going, "Oh," and I just looked at my dad and I said, "Sorry about this." Crank that thing up to 21, and he's just over there laughing.
Just like everybody else.
That is great. And I hate to nerd out on this one. You can edit this if you want, but if you go read about
Okay, hold on. Let's get the
Okay,
key ready.
in
3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
Okay.
If you read about how Johnny Marr did that guitar effect is analog. He lined up amps like Red Rover facing each other in a room and then made them bounce off each other. It is not an electronic effect. There you go. And now we're going to pass it over to Jason, who's going to talk to us in Raised by Wolves about more TV.
Welcome to Raised by Wolves, the segment where we take a look back at how Gen X somehow survived childhood without helmets, supervision, or a plan. We're taking latchkey living, Saturday morning cartoons, and pop culture that shaped us into the slightly cynical, mostly self-reliant adults that we are today. This one came right out of our group chat, where we were talking about, or we saw a meme or something on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, about how people who we saw as children on TV or in movies, we thought they were really, really old people, but they're actually, looking back, kind of weren't. Like Carol O'Connor, who was in All in the Family, famously, Archie Bunker. When that show started taping, he was 47 years old. He was 55 when it ended, younger than us. And he was like an old, white-haired, beer-bellied, cranky old man with adult kids and all this stuff. It's like, how is that a thing? Alan Hale from Gilligan's Island was 43 when Gilligan's Island premiered. I mean, he was the skipper, and he was 43 years old. I wonder how old Mr. Howell was. We should have looked that one up.
I did.
Because Alan Hell looks like an early 70-year-old,
right?
Now, right?
So, but I think the thing we got to figure out is, did they look old for their age, or do we think of ourselves as looking young? Right? Like, where's the paradox come in here?
All right. I'll start this out. I think we all look pretty young for our age. Keep in mind, I haven't been to a class reunion in 29 years, but I think we all look pretty good for our age. I'm just going to put that out there.
It is true. My last class reunion, I looked around like, who are all these old fat people? What's going on with this?
Exactly.
I went to the 20-year and I thought people were holding together pretty well. I was actually pleasantly surprised by the 20-year.
Yeah, but just imagine the people who went there. Imagine the people who went there.
That's right. The three of us, I've been at the latest one. In the tiny black squirrel bar in Swisher in 22, and I thought the folks that showed up there were doing all right.
I also think that World War II and smoking really aged people also.
World wars tend to do that.
Yes. So Mr. Roper was 52 when he started in Three's Company.
Oh my God.
This is Norman Fell.
Norman Fell.
He was the landlord.
Mr. Roper is 52. He was a tail gunner for the Air Force in World War II.
Well, and you could tell he smoked a pack of Lucky Strikes every day, too.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. And that's the smoking and drinking coffee all day.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, you got to add bad nutrition in there too, right? They weren't getting the full complement of nutrition, especially as kids, right? A lot of them.
Well, I think also, like, especially men in those age, like, they all wore slacks and, like, button-down shirts and suspenders and fedoras and ties and things. It just made them look older. We're all wearing, like, jeans and T-shirts and baseball caps and stuff. We look like teenagers, like, how we dress.
We're hipsters, all right.
And so.
And by the way, Jackson was just describing most of my closet without the vests. So,
I mean,
and keep in mind, Archie Bunker was working in a factory all day, come home, and he come home and sat in his chair and, bitched to the world and everybody else in the house for hours. And that was the show.
It's such a great question that Jack came up with, because like the youth culture thing doesn't really get going until the 80s, I don't think, right? Where we're all trying to like fight, like everyone is fighting aging, not just the celebrities, right? And we're trying to appear to be younger than we are. I think at the time period you're talking about, both the ones that were depicted and when those shows were made, like people aged into this idea of like, yeah, I'm older. I'm not one of those teeny boppers. This is how it is to drive. I wear hush puppies or whatever it is.
Well, and we were right on the cusp too of like pop culture nostalgia being something that we would cling to. Like we all still are into like Star Wars and all these sorts of things that we were into as we were kids. That generation left childhood behind. Like they were not clinging to childhood in any way.
Nobody ever said to me, let's go look at this thing that was made in 1947 when we were graduating high school in 1987. No one ever referred to anything that was 40 years old. You would have the very occasional person who was into like the, early Hollywood movies or whatever and would ask you to see it. But nobody said, this is very cool. You should see it.
No. I mean, so I think that, and I think there's a little bit of, we're a little more juvenile than people our age were 35, 40 years ago.
Well, the other thing they did was they read, right? They consumed information via the written word. Oh. Like when we left that behind, we became a different kind of person. I feel like, what was Archie Bunker doing in every scene, right? He had his newspaper out. That's what he was complaining about.
Well, there's a reason why, like the Looney Tunes cartoons and stuff had like real classical music and they were based on operas and things because they were just a more like well-read and cultured people. I mean, everything I know about operas and classical music comes from Looney Tunes.
It's true.
Can't consume the Barbara of Seville without thinking about
right?
Bugs Bunny.
It's true.
All right, here are mine. Ann B. Davis was 43 years old when she started playing Alice on the Brady Bunch. 43 years old.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's really
wow.
Right? She'd be like the MILF housekeeper now.
She she looked like 60 in that show, right?
Yeah, she did.
Is that what you would assume? Like she was in her 60s?
Oh yeah, for sure. 60 to 65. And she would grandmother, right? Matronly grandmother making cookies. Yeah. And the other one was Abe Vigoda started playing fish when he was 53.
Unbelievable.
He said he had gone for a run the day of the audition and they cast him because he looked tired. He's like, I was fucking tired.
Well, and I think too, just people acted their age, then, and I think now people want to look young, they want to dress young, and like you were saying, Jocko, like even the people we see in pop culture, they're casting young people to play old roles and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're younger than they ought to be in these situations, and they want us to think we should look young all the time.
And I think too, what you talked about, like the people that we saw, you're talking about people we saw on the TV screens, but this went for people that we knew too. Like my grandmother, my dad's mom, she died at 82, I believe. She was 82. But to me, in my memory of her, long memory of her, to me, she was like always 82.
Right.
Like all three, I didn't know my grandfather on my dad's side, but the other three I knew, and they were always old. And we had, or I had teachers like that. The three of us, me and Brian and John, went to at some point in whatever, 4th grade, 5th grade, maybe some of us went to different buildings. I went to the building that had a gal. I wonder how old she was now as she was teaching, but she, now when I think about her, I just think she was like close to retiring, late 60s, early 70s. But I bet she was like 50, maybe 47.
Are you talking Mrs. Kelly?
No, I'm talking about Mrs. Bowersox.
Oh, Mrs. Bowersox, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you think that she was not near the age we would guess she was at, right?
No. For sure. We were putting 20 years on her for sure.
Yeah.
And I have to, before we leave this, I have to say, like, Brian got to this just a minute ago, but like, back-breaking work wore people's bodies out, and they were done by the time they were 55 or so, which is why the retirement age was set where it was, and they were barely making it to that age. And so there's got to be a little bit of gratitude for, part of the reason that we look like we do is because nobody forced us to work on the line and do the same thing 2,000 times a day for 30 years.
Here's another reason why we look younger is our teachers, like Mrs. Bowersox, doesn't wash her mouth out with soap anymore. I saw her do that not once in a school year, but multiple times.
Well, the little fuckers we grew up around.
Yeah, like, oh, dude, our 4th grade class was a murderer's row of people.
Brutal.
John's and I, 4th grade. Oh my God.
Brutal.
We
could do the Iowa courts online on that. Yes. Just rack up the numbers. Yes. It's not just me.
Yes.
Instead of class pictures, you had mug shots taken. Turn to the side, turn to the front. Okay.
I'm going to put the over-under for Class D felonies at 3 from that group.
Yeah. We learned nothing that year. Nothing. If we did, we self-taught. If we did, we were self-taught.
Exactly. From in a Lord of the Flies perspective, we learned a lot.
Yeah, we did.
All right. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling kind of old and a little bit tired. I think it's time for a whip around.
No doubt someone's wondering where we are by now. So before we get called back to reality, let's stick and move with some quick takes, fast laughs, and then we're out. It's time for a good old-fashioned whip around.
Whip around!
Whip around!
You whipper snappers.
All right, is an oldie but goodie. What's a good band name you heard during your work week, and what genre of music do they play? We're going to start with Jocko.
Oh man, I've been waiting for this episode because I heard the best one at work the other day. Here it is. For your best improvisational jazz, check out Clean Up the Six.
Is that a reference to Highway 6 or you're behind?
Or is that like a military patrol term, look behind you?
Yeah, this is the best thing. As soon as this was uttered in a public meeting, I almost had to get up and walk out because it cracked me up right away, and it has nothing to do with anything you've even guessed.
Stock cars? Is the stock cars like cleaning up behind you, like you're trying to? No. Oh, dang it!
Clean up the six. Here's the funny thing too. It's a quartet. It's not six. It's a
There's
quartet.
no six.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
right.
Oh,
Yeah.
They play in 3/4.
Yeah.
like Maroon 5. There's just one, right?
As far as you know.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Jax, what's the next one?
All right, this is a prog rock band, which we all have a soft spot for. I know lots of
That's right.
long solos and noodling and all that kind of stuff. This band is called Euphoric Gurgling.
Ooh.
And I found this on I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big fan of when on a TV show that the closed captions have to describe like a sound effect or something.
Yeah.
This was the sound effect description on Homer Simpson going, "Oh." It said euphoric gurgling.
I want to know why you're watching Homer with the sound off. You're going to have to explain that.
No,
But
we
that's
watch,
really
we watch
hilarious.
TV with the captions on all the time, basically anymore.
Hilarious.
Very funny.
All right, John, what's yours?
This one came out of the group chat, and I had used this term in the presence of a millennial and a Gen Zer within the last week, and neither of them knew what I was talking about. So that's why I put it in, because that was kind of trippy for me. The term is ditchweed. And so ditchweed, and now the discussion we had was about whether that band would cover Fish or Cypress Hill. And I thought that was brilliant. And that belongs to Brian. And I'm coming down on the side of Fish because, of course, that if you've got bad pot, all you're going to do is fade in and out to the 32-minute stylings of Trey.
I'm voting
Anastasio.
Fish.
It's
Is
got
it
to
like
be
a Fish?
doesn't
Is it
it?
like a Fish tribute band, or do they just? Is it one of those kinds of things?
I don't think they have a structure that they observe that would limit
Okay.
themselves to these individual songs.
Okay.
It's more of a vibe,
Okay,
Jax.
Gotcha.
fair enough.
Gotcha. All right, ladies. Coming to the Hinterland Music Festival this summer, it's Rusty Brush.
Is that a country western star?
Yes. He went solo after breaking off from. I think he might have been the new singer from Alabama or something like that. I don't know.
It actually sounds like an Americana group, Paco.
Yeah.
I think I feel called out.
Rusty
Yeah, a
Brush.
little bit.
I feel called out.
Rusty
Dang it.
Brush. Now you'll love where I got this name. Somebody might have bought a bunch of fake mustaches yesterday for Cinco de Mayo.
Uh-huh.
Planning
And
ahead.
that was one of the 6 styles of mustache. One of them was called Rusty Brush.
Nice.
That's amazing. This was at the military surplus store?
Uh,
The CIA section.
yeah, it's a CIA. Yeah.
Yeah, totally undetectable costume disguises.
I see you've chosen the Rusty Brush for this assignment.
Well played, comrade.
I mean, there's cowboy, there's Italian plumber, there's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, Rusty Brush. So that's a good one though.
Italian plumber, because you can't put Mario on the package.
That's right.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Trademark infringement there.
All right, boys, we're officially whipped. The swear jar amount to benefit American Cancer Society is up to $213. Closing credits, please.
Thank you for listening to Connect More. I'm the producer. Please subscribe and like this podcast because it's my only chance of getting paid for this gig. Connect More is a product of Pan Tiger LLC and is hosted by Brian Danielson, Eric Van Lanker, Jason Nisus, and John Hedgecoff. Connect More is edited by me and Jocko. The showrunners are Jax, Hedge, and Weenus. Theme music written and recorded by Ryan Veeder. Cover art designed by Leon Golden. Musical director is Evil. Legal liaison is Brian. Lead writers are John and Eric. Runner-up writers are Jason and Captain Danielson. Publication coordinator is Jax. Special thanks to GVC, Aaron, Miss Roper, and Yoko. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure to follow Connect More on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.